Welcome to part 2 of my Tekla Basics videos. If you've seen part 1, this is a grid that we went through. I am going to draw in a basic building, show you how to put in beams and columns and some basic model manipulation tools. To speed things up, I have actually started this model, so this is your standard way of redrawing a view. It would just be to click redraw view. If you go into your tools and customize, you can bring in other tools by selecting there. These are the toolbars. The ones with the red crosses through aren't active. These are the active ones with the eye on them. So you can bring in all these commands just by clicking them and closing. One of the ones that I've got imported in is redraw all. That redraws all your open views. Okay, so this is a building that I've already started. It's not based on anything, I'm just making it up as I go along. I'm not getting too involved in the structural integrity of it. It's mainly just to show how to put in beams and columns, create general arrangements, put a few connections in it. I'll probably go on to put on a staircase, maybe cold rolled, etc. We'll see how it goes on as I progress. Okay, so as you can see, there's no rafters in, so let's start by putting some rafters in, and for that you need your beam tool, obviously. Let's bring up the properties for that beam. I've already preset it up. That's the section size that I'm going to use. Position has already been set because basically I double clicked on one of these and applied it. So I could just copy these over, to be fair, but this is one way I might put in a set of rafters. Just see which way these are going, so they all go the same way. Just keeps things nice and neat. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off, snap to geometry lines. What that does is it eliminates all these snap points here. You can see that is your main snap point. It's got a larger yellow box. Then when you go for secondary snap points, they all appear smaller. So I'm just going to switch that off, and that won't pick anything else now. It means I can work at a greater distance. As you'll notice, I've put one beam in. The reason I put one beam in this is because I've got a central grid here, and I'm going to use that grid to split that beam using that point there, and that is split in the center. Just to prove that, Control P will flick that view into a ortho view. As you can see, it's directly over the central grid line. Bring that in, and then I'm going to highlight that. Press your Alt button down, drag a window around, that highlights those two grips, and then move special, linear, pick, and pick. That's given us two values there. We want the Z value, as you can see, so I'll take that, which it already is, and move, and that's now set at the same top of steel and same pitch as these. Copy. Obviously there's two ways of copying. You can do copy or copy linear. On purpose I've made these grids different, so to do copy linear would be quite a tedious task. I would have to go to one and then repeat that and repeat and repeat. So for the sake of this job, all these grids are different, so I'm just going to do copy. I'm going to pick down here, and drop the grid on there, quick flick to there. You can see that they're all lined up with my grid. Control P, shut those down. I don't normally work with all my dialog boxes here. I normally have 3 screens including my laptop. I work from a laptop, and I have two 21-inch screens. Tend to have all my emails and stuff up on my laptop. All my dialog boxes are off to the right hand screen. Okay, so that's the rafters in. Now we're going to work on the central floor. So I'm quite used to working in an isometric view, to be fair. However, the correct way to put in a level of floor steel would be to work to the level that you're working from. So if I just show my grids, these are all my grid levels. So as you can see, that is the top of steel for these beams. So I'm going to select this beam and put them all in at the same size at the moment. Apply. Okay. Just expand that. I'm going to form a bit of an atrium as well, I think. So where shall we go? So we'll go from this point here over to this point here, okay, to that point, to that point. Okay, so I'm going to make this symmetrical. So I'm going to take those. Again, grid line D is a central. Copy a special mirror. Pick a point. Z's facing me. And copy. And let's copy them over to there. And I'll copy that one on that grid. You know, so I'm not picking on the beam. This is safer doing it on the grid if you've got it available. It's just easier and safer that way. And then we're going to want from there. Yeah, so it's having an atrium into. So I'll split that. And delete that. Now let's just bring this in so you can see those appearing. As you can see, working in this plan view, because it's a named view, it's putting the top of steel in to that level. You shouldn't have to worry about. You've got to be careful, you can't do it in every through. So if I put a beam in here, for instance, if I try and do it in this view, which is my isometric view, as you can see, it's not appearing there, and the reason for that is it's at 0. So you need to be working in the level like you want the steel to go in at. So copy those. Okay, I'm just going to show you a different way of copying. Another option for copying is to let's make that nice and deep, shall we? 610 and modify. Okay. Another way to copy is to copy special to another object. All these columns are the same size, so that will successfully copy from that one to that one to that one to that. Sorry. Modify that to that. You should, by habit, take all your ticks off when you're doing stuff like that, because it'll take on any of those properties. For instance, if I just undo that, if that one was rotated, so if I rotate it, it wouldn't be, but just for the sake of argument, it was rotated. If I want to change the properties of that beam so it's the same depth as that one, which I think we will, so double click that, don't take all the ticks off, and then modify, you'll see it's also rotated the beam, which we didn't want it to do. So out of habit, always take off your ticks and then just retake the ones that you do want. Okay, just undo that. And okay, another way of rotating that. You should have. You can access this by Control K, which is like your mini toolbar. And I use it for very little, other than to just bring that down and pin it. I use this for very little, other than this tool here. I hardly ever use any of these. Don't go into any of these. But I use this a lot. This rotation wheel here. And as you can see, that is rotating that beam. Also changes your grip point, or your start and end points, which is very handy, especially for PFCs and RSAs, for instance. So I'm just going to match it up to this one. Okay. So going back to here. Let me just change the colour of these internal beams. Just put them in a different colour. Notice I've took my ticks off. I don't tend to do that just by habit, to be fair. It's a good habit to get into. For anything, any kind of dialog box that you open up with ticks, just turn all your ticks off before you make any changes, and then just retick anything that you want to change. Okay, I'll leave that one as it is. I think secondary beam into it. Let's just span on that. Let's move that. Move special linear. Move that to that. So those beams there, they're going to be split and they're going to be continuous. So we'll split those beams. Again, using the grid arm to split those beams. As a re-highlight, you can see it splitting. Copy. Copy special to another object. Copy. 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 Okay, let's drag that one off grid. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to drag the ends of these three beams and this beam to line up with that. Highlight your beam, hold your shift button down, drag a window across, and you've highlighted all the grip points. Move special, linear, take that tick off, otherwise it's going to move it in that direction. And move. Okay, you see it stretched the ends of the beams out. Okay, it's fairly uniform job this. I'll have an atrium here, and I'll probably put a staircase in here somewhere as well. So we need some columns, don't we? Let's just go for the 2 columns. What's that span? I know it's not structurally important on this show. Let's have it looking some 10 metres. I can live with 10 metres with 600 beam. Copy special, linear. Take that one off and copy. Just pop into my 3D. So Control Tab toggles through your views. As you can see, we've got these. Change that and the colour. Modify. Yeah, well, that's okay. We can live with that. I'll create a view on that. Don't need that one, don't need that one, don't need that one. Okay, highlight, Alt, move. Okay, so as you can see my cursor's floating around, there's no fixed snap point. We'll turn that back on. So I could snap to there. Basically I'm going to extend it and then I'm going to trim it to that point there. That's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is use your ortho snap, which is your O on your keyboard. And as you can see just there, look, that is flicking on and off. And when that O is displayed, you can drag. Just need another good practice is just set your UCS to your work plane. So that's set work plane parallel to view plane. So now drag that endpoint up. As you can see, I get this green box at the pick point, and that's telling me that it's pulling it in a perpendicular direction to your X, Y, Z coordinates. I just want to extend past a little bit, and then I'm going to trim this beam back to that point there. In fact, actually, I'm not going to trim it, I'm going to cut it. So, cut part with a line. Click on the side you want to remove, or cut part end, and that just requires the 2 picks. We'll go with that. Copy special to another object. That's not right, that needs extending. So first thing, bring up the properties for that column. See, I know these ticks off. Set the height of that column to the same height as that column. I would just copy the column over, to be fair, if it were a real job, but I'm just trying to show you ways of manipulating and working with your model. Copy to another object. You don't always get good results with copy to an object, because basically it's always anything that you do copy by object, it is it's reading the start point, the yellow grid. So in this instance I know it's going to give me a perfect copy position. However, just to demonstrate, so if I just undo that, I'll just extend, Alt, move, drag it down. I've got my O snap on, drag it down a meter, and then if I then copy that object to that column, you'll see it's cut it, because it's put the cut the same distance from the end of this column as it is from the end of that column. Move that up a meter. As you can see, I didn't type anything in there. By having my ortho snap on, I can work quite quickly in 3D. As you can see, that's going up in 100mm increments. The tighter you get into that, the smaller the increments. That's going up in 1mm increments. Now it's going up in 10mm increments. There's 50mm increments, and so on and so on. The more you zoom out, those increments change. So now that column, minus 400, 7700, minus 400, 7700, they're both the same. You can pick the height of anything, you can work out the height of anything by inquire and part. And that brings up this dialog box, and that all gives you top level of steel. Not so easy with the rafter. So for instance, the top point of that column, you might use your points. Points are great tools, some better than others. put that on there. And if you double click any point, oops, missed it. If you double click any point, it brings up point information, and the height of that point is at 7536.73. Should you require that information. Okay, so let's start to look a bit like a building now. And columns and beams, changing properties on columns and beams. Okay, so one thing to be aware of, what grade have we got on these? We'll make all this steel work the same grade. We'll just call it 355, and I'm going to do it the wrong way first. So the wrong way would be to, well, the correct way would be to untick everything and just select new material. S355, it's a UK grade. Is to select all your model and then click modify. Did you get the bing? Always have your sounds on. Your sounds will tell you when something's not quite right. So if I now click on a column, any column, you can see it's S355. I've changed the material grade globally. However, when I click on a beam, as you can see, they've not changed. So let's just undo. So now everything is S275 or S275JR now. So if you want to change something globally, which includes beams and columns and plates if it were material grade, to be honest, you would select a beam. And by selecting a beam, S355, and modify, all the beams are now S355, and so are your columns. Okay, so before I get into putting any connections in here, I just want to go through this. Let me just reset that. So, return work plane back to origin is one that I've imported. This is the one that you'll get by default. If you click that one, you've got to type in the value. 9 times out of 10 it's 0 that you want. So I've imported this one, which returns work plane back to origin. So it basically puts it on 0, 0, 0, and it's just a one-click operation, no typing involved. So I'm just going to change that to a different section size. I'm going to make it an odd leg angle to show you how handy this next tool is. RSA, roll steel angle. Let's go for one with quite a big leg on it. 200 by 150. There you go, 150 by 75. Now we go 150 by 75. Modify. Okay, so that, as you can see, the start and end points are floating in mid-air. So we can correct that with this again. So that's more like it, and then I'm going to rotate it. Right, okay, so I've rotated that round. However, I don't want it to toe that way. I want the short leg to toe the opposite way. It doesn't matter what you do with this wheel, you cannot get that to toe the opposite direction. You can try and do it with this, which is your standard. Very slow way of doing it. As you can see, that's not working, and none of this will work. Mess around with those all day, but you will not get that to toe in the opposite direction without drawing it from yellow to pink. However, there is a tool that will help you out with that. So let me just get that back into its original position. Okay, and it's this tool here, macro swap handles. it doesn't come up as standard, I do believe you've got to load it into your toolbar. So you click a member, single member, swap angles, and it's now towing in the opposite direction. Also notice that the pink grip is now at that end and the yellow grip's now at this end. Okay, so we don't need that. Okay, just do a quick redraw on that. Alternate sharpen the additional columns in there. No. Let's just beef these columns up then. So what they're in at the moment, 356. Let's go for a 400. Make them 406. 457. Yeah. So that one, that one, that one, and that one, and that one. Take all the ticks off and modify. Beef them up a bit. Just bring up that plan view. Maintain the sheet in line. Just drop a construction line across there. I can pick anywhere because I've got my ortho snap on. As you can see, that green box. That also gives you a 45-degree indicator. Actually, 90-degree indicator. I only need to know what one of them is. They're the same section size. Move special, linear. Select them all. And move. Okay. Just do a Control Tab. Just flip through these open views. Okay. Create a clip plane. What's that do? It basically does what it says on the tin. You can create 6 clip planes if you can visualize a dice the 6 sides of a cube. You invoke your command, and as you can see, this square box is toggling from one surface to another, and you just pick anything up to 6 planes. Interrupt and just drag that up. You can see your floor nicely. So that's your clip tool. It's quite a cool piece of kit. Don't use it very often. Use it on complex jobs. It's quite handy to see into like big beefy connections. Another tool I just want to show you. Create a view. Default view on parts. As you can see, I've got all these views open here now. Only 2 of them are named. These in brackets means that they're temporary views. Okay, so let me just do a window and cascade tile horizontally. As you can see, you've got all these views open here. Only that one and that one are named views. Could be quite laborious shutting all these down one at a time. Another tool to load up is macro, close temporary views. If you click that, it closes all these temporary views. Right, okie dokie. So that pretty much just leaves the roof bracings. So roof bracing. Now, in my setup, I've got quite a lot of stuff which is all pre-set up. One of them being a brace. Load that up, and it's going to preload the brace for me. And you may or may not have these. It's hard for me to say because I've never worked from a default Tekla. I've always been spoiled by having a setup that I've been given by customers. They've spent quite a lot of time setting these up. Some are standard Tekla loaded and some aren't, basically. So I tend to use these quite a bit. However, you can create your own as you go along if you do save as. Like, for instance, my brace save as. and this is pretty much typical for anything. If you save anything as, and go to your model folder and to attributes, it will save it in your attributes, and from there you can copy into your firm folder, and that makes it available for any application. Whenever you save anything in here, if you don't copy it from your attributes folder, it's only available in this model. So if you want to use anything in a future model, do a save as, go into your attributes, find it, and copy it into your main folder. Okay, so did I load it? I did. Apply. Okay. Material. Don't like that material. Pick another one. Apply. Okay. Pick this point here. And I'm actually going to put a double brace in there. So I want a midpoint on that rafter. So points, add point on a line. And you get this up, and that tells you how many points you're going to put in. You just type in what you want and apply. In this case, I just want a midpoint, so it's 1 point. As you can see, it's put that in there. While we're on subject points, if I'm just going to go into this view, I'm going to put in a random beam at any position. Okay, so we use this a lot for handrails. If you want the intersection point of those two. Newer versions have got a tool which will extend the beam to another beam. This is version 18, it's not available. So I use this one quite a lot. Add points to an intersection of the two-part axis. It puts that point in. Alt, move, trim. I use that one quite a lot when I'm doing handrails. Control tab. As you can see, they intersect nicely. Okay, so going back to this bracing bay. That's the one I picked. So, point. Let's bring it back on. Point. 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 We don't want the top, want them in the middle. So we will create a view on that, and we'll use this one, part plane front, and as you can see, that's put it in an horizontal position. Not being too anal with this, so this makes it a little bit quicker. Obviously, if you've got a set point to work to, then it becomes a little bit more complex. Okay, must remember, set work plane parallel to view plane. Move special linear. Drag that down to the middle, and it's going down 299. Okay, and we are going to pull them away from the nodes. So move special, we'll just move, got my old snap on, and let's move them 150. Or move them too. Or as an alternative, you can use this tool, just highlight that again, set work plane to part top plane. Again, in future versions this is a bit more adaptable. In version 18 you click on it and you pretty much get what you're given. In future versions I believe you can toggle around the faces and select the face that you want, which is much more versatile. However, this suits my needs fine. So drag that down, move, because I've got my L snap on, my L snap is going to follow that X value. Go 200 actually, and 200 for that one. And pull these out, because they're at the same angle, so everything's good. And we'll go 50 out, move 50. Happy with those. Return to standard UCS. Got a central grid line, copy, special mirror, and copy. Okay. So apart from any side bracing, which I'm not going to bother with, we're not doing a completed building. Just putting in some typical examples of what you'll encounter. So we've got this building now. Now you might think that the next stage is start connecting to. That is not the way that I was taught. The next stage will be to produce general arrangement drawings, floor plans, foundation plan, sections, etc. for checking that the sections that you've got in are correct, that and everything is dimensioned correctly. There's no point going in, connecting all this up and then finding out that half your sections are wrong, and that you've got your eaves or your ridge arch at the wrong place, etc, etc. So for the next video, that is what we're going to do. Thanks for watching this one.